Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family.
Hey, all you crazy cool families out there, the holidays are coming. We're so excited. I've gathered all the girls on a Zoom call, and we are going to talk to you about the holidays. But Madeline had this brainstorm, and it's got a little twist on it. So they're going to share with you, when we say the word holidays, they've got a different word in mind. So Madeline, Macy, one of you guys chime in.
Yeah, Macy here. Madeline texted me one day and said, hey, I was laying in bed, and I think I'm not the only mom that was laying in bed thinking about the holidays and everything that's coming in the next 2 months. And basically she said this word came to her brain, which we want to celebrate the holidays, DAYS, but sometimes we feel like we can fall into a holidaze, HOLIDAZE. So we laughed about it and we kind of talked about it, and we came up with a couple definitions for what does it mean to be in the holidays. And it's not enjoying the present event, the festivity, or the celebration because you're so stinking stressed out about the next event, festivity, or celebration. And it's basically this cycle we can get into of there's so much to do, there's so many things to wrap and places to go and parties and all of this and food to make and treats, and I'm constantly on a sugar high, and so are my children, that we're just stuck in this like holidays. Other definition we came up with was a cloudy or just kind of negative mindset about the upcoming holiday events because you feel too overwhelmed, or that you just don't have the energy to make it through, and you ultimately don't have joy. And that's just not what we want to do. We don't want to be in a holidays. We don't want to be stuck in this cycle of, I have too much to do, I have too many people to please, and there's not enough time to get it all done. And we were kind of talking about how, what would it be like if December 24th came around and you felt so excited for Christmas Day, or traveling to see family, or just had the energy to make the most of the 2022 holidays? Because the reality is they're only going to be here once. You're only going to celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's in 2022 one time with your kids at this age, where you're going to be celebrating, with the people you're going to be around. And so let's make the most of it. So that's what we're talking about today, is how do you kick the holidays, DAZE, mindset and make the most of the 2022 holidays? So we gathered, like my mom said, all the girls, Mackenzie's here, Molly's here, Madeline's here, Suze and I, and we're just going to have a discussion about what are some things that you've learned from your childhood, whether you saw mom do things great or not so great, or other moms or other families. What are things that you're doing now in your season of family to just maximize these holidays? And what we're hoping is that you're going to get some really practical things to do over the next couple of weeks to make these holidays the best they've ever been. So everybody say hey, go around, oldest to youngest, say hey really quick, and then we'll jump in and get started.
Okay. Hey, I'm the oldest. I'll do a test. If you're listening, what's my name?
Molly.
Molly.
Okay, well, all my sisters know my name. So great.
I was listening.
Madeline wins.
But yeah, my name's Molly.
Madeline here. Number 2, the next oldest.
Number 3, Macy.
I'm Mackenzie, the youngest of the girls.
Bringing up the rear of the babies. Yeah, I love it that the girls were thinking about this, because I remember as a young mom, getting caught up in the stress of the holidays. And so we just want to challenge you, like Macy said, and to encourage you to rethink the way you do the holidays. And I love it, Macy, that you said, because this is the only one we get for 2022. This is the only Thanksgiving, the only Christmas that we get. So what are we going to do to make the best of it? And so I'm just excited to hear some ideas that you guys have, especially you guys with young mamas. I mean, your young mamas with young children. And then also, Macy and Ken's, as you go off to, do the holidays with your in-laws. And I mean, it's just it's a whole different scene than we've ever had before when it comes to all of us getting together for every moment of every holiday. So who
Yeah.
wants to go first?
There's definitely been a shift. I don't know, listener, whoever's listening, I don't know where you're at with your season of family, but there was, 2 decades for me, at least 2 decades, where every Thanksgiving and every Christmas, I was with my family and we were celebrating, we had traditions. And now that I'm married, it's like, there's been a pretty big shift into now we're building our own traditions and our own culture. And I have different pressures or different expectations put on me, more family to please, more family to see. And so there's definitely a theme of like, I want to do this well, but I'm also pretty new to doing this in the first place. And so that's kind of what we're hoping to give some insight, not just to the moms with littles or not just to the empty nesters, but even to young marrieds that are maybe just stepping into in-laws and holidays, and hopefully give you some vision on how, I don't know, how we're hoping to embark on this new holiday season. So that's the question we're kind of unpacking. Everyone's going to kind of chime in with just thoughts and practicals and things that they're going to try and do. We're no experts. We're navigating this just like you guys are. But the hope is that together we can maximize these holidays and not be in a holidays. So everybody, how do you maximize, or how are you planning on maximizing the 2022 holidays?
Okay, I'll go. I can't answer that question, but I actually was going to say, ask Madeline a question too, because Madeline and I are both young moms, so different than Macy and Mackenzie, but we are very different personalities. And so even when Macy sent this, I was thinking to myself, I don't have holidays. Because my personality is so, like today I went to Starbucks and bought 10 Starbucks gift cards for the people that I'm buying Starbucks gift cards for, because I thrive on planning ahead, but that's my personality. I like forced our family into making Christmas lists the 1st of November because I like to plan ahead. But so I guess my note and my question is, Madeline, how did you already start realizing, oh my gosh, holidays are coming up? Because you're so different than me. But Madeline is so good at like embracing the fun. Literally last year, she got our entire family, all, 20 of us, to a random house in Missouri for literally 24 hours to see Christmas lights at Silver Dollar City, because she just embraces the fun. But I think actually I was talking to my husband about it, and he was like, you don't even want to decorate for Christmas, which is true. I am known amongst my friends and my family as a Scrooge. I don't want to do it because I don't want the clutter. I don't want the mess. I don't want to deal with cleaning it up. And so I just think I guess my question might be, even if someone's listening and they're like, oh, I don't experience that, or I do experience that, or what does that even look like, to see if that's something that I need to work through. Because like you said, Macy, I just keep going back to like in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, when they're announcing the arrival of Jesus, like joy to the world, the Lord has come. Like for us to celebrate Jesus's birth is he came to give us joy. Like that's what the angels were saying. And so for us not to experience joy in this season it's just like, it's like we're missing out. And so I guess even Macy and Mackenzie, as you guys are like planning like where you're going and how you're spending your holidays, what does it even look like for you? So maybe some people can just identify, oh, that is so me and I didn't even know.
Okay, so one of the things that Molly said, which I do want to tap in on, so is Madeline, talk to us when you thought about holidays, because if I go back to me as a young mom, then I do feel like I was in a holidays. And I do feel like that I was stressed out, and I do feel like that I had my priorities messed up, and I do feel like that I didn't the joy of the Lord, to unto us a child is born. And I know that I focused on Jesus being born, but I did get very caught up in all this stuff. And where Molly's on one end of the spectrum when it comes to decorations, I would say that I'm on the other end. And maybe I even drove her not to want to do the holiday. And I forced her. I think I forced all of you guys. No, you're going to decorate. You're going to do something I'll buy it for you if you need me to, but you're going to decorate for Christmas.
Like even in college, we would get like these little packages, and it would be like a little ornament or a little nativity scene or like a little something that's like, put this in your house, or we would go to Hobby Lobby whenever she was in town. She'd be like, oh, you have to get this tree. You have to decorate. And so I think that's true. There is an element of like we've watched you do it for so many years, Mom, and now we're deciding what we want to like take from you and what we don't want to do. And maybe we swing to the extreme on some and we swing to the other extreme on certain issues or certain things. And I think that's just part of it. Like there's an experimentation that comes with these holidays of trying to figure out what's important and what's not.
Yeah, I've seen so many posts on social media right now that like Thanksgiving is a day and Christmas is a season. And so, and, it's scientifically proven that people that decorate for Christmas, are friendlier and happier, just all the people that are out there are going, it's time to decorate, and to slowly see the lights in the neighborhood, go up along the way. There is a camaraderie to that, there is we're all in this together type thing.
I guess maybe how do we maximize the holidays, kind of going back, or I guess maybe even going back to Molly's initial question of like, what does that even mean to be in a holidays? I think it actually happens when you're trying to maximize the holidays, when you're trying to make the best and the most and the fun, that's when it's like really easy to be like, oh, what all is going on? Like, this is hard and foggy. And so something that we do, not just for the holidays, but for every season, is we make a little bucket list to help our family accomplish and maybe like give us something to do sometimes, but also to accomplish and to maximize the holidays. So on a Christmas bucket list is things like go see Christmas lights, or decorate for Christmas, or drink hot chocolate, or whatever it is. And so that's helpful for us on the maximizing the holiday. And it's helpful for me to not be in a holidays, because then I'm like, okay, if this other thing's not on my Christmas list, or my Christmas thing, then we're not going to do it. So that's something that we do to maximize the holidays, is just maybe have a little bit of a fun list. And like I'm so saying, it helps me get out of the holidays because I'm a little bit more focused and like, okay, let's do this today, or let's do this, or okay, we only have to go see Christmas lights once. We don't have to go see them 16 times. And we only have to like decorate. Like our decorating for fall is I bought 3 decorations from the dollar store and we put them up in the house. And I know that's kind of lame for Christmas, but it's like with little kids in Christmas, you don't have to go all out. You can make it simple. Decorating for Christmas can be a Christmas tree, one Christmas tree and a few, 3 other small decorations in their room, or one Christmas tree in their room and one in the living room. That actually can be it. Anyway, so maybe simplifying is what I'm trying to say. Just like simplifying the craziness can make the holidays be a little bit easier, and you maximize it because you're actually doing the things that you want to do. So just taking like 20 minutes to think about what are the fun things we could do this holiday season, and do those and not do the other 500 things that you could do.
Yeah, I know you didn't directly ask me this question, Molly, but I think since I don't have kids yet, when Madeline said this idea, I was like, that's it. That's what I feel in these weeks. Like, it's still fun and we still do fun things, but I'm a planner and I like to get ahead and do things ahead of time, but I still feel that feeling. And I think for me, it kind of stems from, I want it to be as amazing as it could possibly be. I want to get the most out of it. And that thought can kind of be so general that it's a little paralyzing. And so I lay in bed awake at night in a holidays thinking like, I don't know where to start. Like, do I buy presents first, or do I make my bucket list first? Or do I like plan the events with family? Like, what if I don't want to be there in that space for that long with family? Like, how do I take care of myself? How do I take care of other people? And I don't even have kids yet. And so there's this element of like, I got to get this down now, because then when I have kids, it kind of starts to snowball in my head and creates like anxiety, or just that feeling of like, if I can't do it really well, then I don't want to do it at all. And then days and days and days go by and I don't buy presents and I don't make plans and I don't book flights, or it's just, I kind of kick the rock down the road a little bit. And then I look up and it's December 10th, or December 15th. And that's kind of what the holidays feels like for me.
I was reading this book. It's actually about communion by Benny and Bill Johnson. And they said something that I feel like it's pretty applicable to just any season, but specifically the holiday season. And it is what you allow your mind to dwell on shapes your expectations and thus shapes your worldview. So I feel like a lot of times as the wife and the mom in any relationship, whether it's like your nuclear family or your big family or your in-laws or whatever that is, you are the one that feels the pressure to do or live out a certain expectation, whether that's an expectation that's been put on you by yourself, put on you by how your mom did it, put on you by how your mom didn't do it, by your husband, your mother-in-law, whatever it might be. There is a lot of expectations around the holiday season. And I know something that we learned even in marriage counseling was unsaid expectations are always unmet. And so I just think even in that quote from the Johnsons of what you allow your mind to dwell on shapes your expectations. So I think it's important to have traditions and to do a few things every year that might be the same so your kids can have that or your family can have that. But even and what you're talking about, Madeline, like literally boiling it down to like in our house, every time we bring Christmas up right now, we tell Bash we celebrate Jesus' birthday. That's what we're doing for Christmas. We're celebrating Jesus' birthday. And it just simplifies it. We get to decorate because we're celebrating Jesus' birthday. We get to have a present because we're celebrating Jesus' birthday. And that, like, for my mind, celebrating a birthday, like, feels so much simpler than doing all this Christmas stuff. And so just even as the wife and the mom that's like probably driving the train, just like take a few steps back and ask yourself, what is my mind dwelling on? What are the expectations that I'm either putting on myself or even the expectations that the other people have for me? Because if you're choosing to dwell on that expectation, you're literally creating that as a reality. But if you're choosing to dwell on like, the joy of the Lord is my strength, or comparison is the thief of joy, or it's just about Jesus's birthday, or I don't know, pick something out of like the story of Jesus being born and dwell on that, or dwell on how much you're excited to be with family, not presents. I don't know what it could be, but then that will be your reality because that is then your expectation. So I actually don't even remember what question you asked, but I feel like when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's a really good application for me specifically in relationships around the holidays. That is good for me, is like, let me dwell on the things above so that my expectation is set in the kingdom, not in potentially any disappointment of the world.
And that's something we actually started applying where this is Mackenzie talking, would just ask my mom, what are your unspoken expectations for this holiday, for this week, for this weekend in advance, so that then she could think about them and then tell me, this is the thing that I'm not saying, but I'm expecting of everyone, of myself, of this space. Oftentimes leaning towards food, being like, I have an expectation for you to help me make the food because it's so much. So even thinking of new moms who are going to in-laws, I don't know what your relationship is there, but asking like, hey, do you have any unspoken expectations of us? So that then you don't have to necessarily try to meet them, but then you could actually create reality in that space. If you know for a fact you're not going to be able to meet that expectation, at least it's voiced. So then you can say, hey, this is what our boundary is. This is what our limit is. This is what we're able to do. So that then expectations can be met.
That's good. And a similar note to expectations, I don't know, Mackenzie probably has some fancy word for this, but like what I'm trying to say is prepare your kids, like for all you moms out there, for the things that are going to be expected of them. Even simple things like, we're going to go see Christmas lights and get hot chocolate. This is what it's going to look like. You're going to sit in your car seat for 45 minutes. And we're going to get the hot chocolate, and it's going to take 10 minutes for it to cool down before you can actually drink it. You know, like prepare your kids for the expectations of things. We're going to go hang out with this grandparent, and we're going to stay there for one night. And then we're going to go to this grandparent's. We're going to stay there for 2 nights, and they might heat up their pool for us because it's Texas and it's going to be 75 degrees. And so we might get to go swimming on, Christmas Eve or whatever it is. And so, but just like preparing your kids for the expectations that are expected of them will help you as a mom and as a family not be so frustrated when they're, leaving one place or not ready to leave the next, or disappointed in this, that, or the other, that they only got this. So just set your family up for success. Another way to maximize the holidays is to preset your family up for success. And if you're moms that are stay at home with your little kids, you have all day, every day to talk about all the fun things you're going to do with them and help them. One thing that we are so Truett, my 3-year-old, is about to be 4, and it's his birthday and Christmas in the same month. And so he started asking every day, when is my birthday going to be? And when is my birthday party? And so we're going to make a little, one of those little rings that you just tear off each day that goes by all the way up to where it is. And so I can set up, so I can help him have the proper expectations. Like, this is how many days until your birthday. And so every day we're going to tear one off, and then tomorrow the next one. And that's how you know. So just setting your kids up for success can help you as parents not feel so stressed out about everything, because it's really hard when you're in stressful situations and then the children are being stressful to not everyone just implode. And then there goes, not that it's like sabotage memory, but it makes whatever that is that's happening not quite as fun as anticipated.
Yeah, when me and Madeline were talking about this, she said something that I thought was so good. She was like, one way you can maximize the holidays is to plan ahead, is to think things through and prepare your family. And then she just kind of like said it out loud. She's just kind of thinking out loud. She's like, because no one likes it when the mom is stressed out. And I like immediately went back to my childhood, specifically like Christmas Eve. And there was a shift in our mom from like, we went to Christmas Eve service and we did our traditions of getting Christmas jammies and we set out cookies for Santa. And it was like, and then when I was little, we went to bed and I never saw, stressed Suze on Christmas Eve. I actually helped stuff the stockings one year. I helped wrap some of the presents. I just like kind of became a Santa's helper. And I saw my mom go into that stressed out mode of like, I have 1,000 things left on my list to make this day great. I don't know if I can do it all. And that like feeling starts to rise up. And so I think that's such a good insight for all those mamas and dads out there that are wanting to make it special. It's like, it takes away from it if you're stressed out. Like your kids pick up on that and they feel that. And it's important to be aware, not to shame yourself, not to like beat yourself up, but be aware of it.
Yeah. And so with that, you guys have said so much. And so Madeline, I love that you talked about telling your kids everything. And I want to encourage you to do that with your husband too. I did not. And so that's why I would go into it so stressed, because while Dawn and I talked about every single present that was bought, I definitely did not include him with the things to do, if you will. So I just want to encourage you to, moms, include your husband, give him a list to do, tell him this would really help me out.
That is great and really helpful, not only to help them help you, but also it's helpful that they end up liking it. Like, I remember the first year that we moved here to Arkansas, I was like, okay, Larry, there's like Christmas tree farms that you can cut down your own tree. I'm like, we're having a real treat and we're going to cut it down every year. And so even just a couple of days ago, he was telling some of our friends that were in town, he's like, every year we go cut down our own tree at a Christmas tree farm. And so if you can include them in the expectations, then they will even get on board with you, which is double fun.
Thanks for listening to part 1 of our HOLIDAZE podcast series. We hope the insight of Suze and the girls brought you inspiration and a few practical ways to get the most out of the 2022 holidays. Come back next week for the rest of our tips plus a family challenge. We believe the holidays are a time to be with family, to build culture, and ultimately to make memories about Jesus and about family. It's all about relationships. So don't miss next week's episode and share this series with a friend who needs to hear some encouragement this holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, and we love you guys.